Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Um today is pretty much gonna be like some kind of story time. I just wanted to express express um you know the I guess how I came into my gifts and a little bit of time before then. Um I was just, kind of journaling, um and I noticed, and it made me cry, y'all, that when I was younger, like when I was, 8, when I was a child, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, no one ever said to me, you are a life. You have a life. You are a life. Or spoke into me, you are a life of abundance, or a life um, a life of helpfulness, a life of beauty, a life of grandeur. No one ever spoke these kinds of things to me when I was little. But the main thing was the fact that I didn't know that I was a whole life. You know what I mean? Like I didn't. I had a whole life ahead of me. Um, and being who I am, no one ever showed me or told me how to navigate through my life. And of course, it was just the usual things. Daddy wasn't around, and mother was on drugs, doing whatever she did, that type of thing. I was pretty much raised by my grandmother, who was, no, she was a good woman, but she had a lot on her plate. She ran a daycare, plus she had 6 other grandkids, plus her own grown kids. You know what I mean? um, that she was taking care of. And so I pretty much, as a young one going into teenage years, had to pretty much figure it all out for myself. Not understanding that, I didn't understand that, when I had kids, that I was supposed to let them know, you are a life. You have a whole life ahead of you. Only when I went through all the traumas that I went through, um, ended up in mental institutions because people thought I was crazy. I'm trying to try to commit suicide because I thought I was crazy. Um, just all these different traumas. People keeping secrets from you and not telling you stuff, and you not having any support from people that you loved. You know what I mean? Like that people you would genuinely show love to, they didn't support you or have your back. Um, and then when finding out that when they did want to support you, they only wanted something from you. You know, as any other, female growing up in the neighborhood that I grew up in, of course, I started having kids, and oh, my nose itching, and getting food stamps and getting welfare and stuff like that. You know, they didn't, people like your own family members didn't even want you living with them unless you could provide something for them. Okay. And they still live that way kind of to this day. They just want something from you. They don't love you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. They just want something from you, which is the saddest shit. Like, um, just, and then the same thing just going, this same issue happening in other families. Um, not knowing that this stuff was like planned, and it could have been avoided if I knew, that I was alive when I was younger, if I knew that I was alive. Um, So, like I said, growing up, and then starting to have my own children, I didn't let them know that they were lives. Not only until they got older, I started telling them that, hey, you got a life to live. You got your own life to live. But this was after I got over all of my traumas and decided, just out of nowhere, decided that I was going to get my life together. I was not about to be living on welfare. I was not about to be letting the government take care of me. I'm going to work as many jobs as I need to until I get where I want to be. Like when I made that decision to take care of myself, because I just knew deep down in my spirit, like, this ain't for me. I don't like people taking care of me. I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't like living under people's thumbs and things of that nature. Um, And, when I started praying to the Most High more, praying more and more, like, I need to get my life better. I don't want to live up under these people. I don't want these people to have any say-so over my life. I want to live the way I'm supposed to. That's when the Lord actually, like, boom, introduced me into my gifts. I still was going through all type of traumas. I ended up losing my oldest daughter to a freak accident that that has never been solved. Like, it has never been solved. And that's one wish I had asked the Most High to tell me, how did this happen? Why would a car just come crashing into our house, and killed my daughter? um as we get older, or as time goes on, I'm still kind of learning. And I ended up, oh my goodness, when I was, like I said, when I was younger, I ended up losing I didn't lose them. I didn't lose my kids, but they did go into, um, not custody, but guardianship to my mother, who, listen, at first, when I asked her if she would help me, if she could, be there for me, help me and let me get back on my feet, to when I started to say, I'm gonna turn my life around, I'm gonna do whatever it is I need to do to, take care of my kids and this and that and the other. When I asked her to help me, she told me no. So it was like I didn't have a choice but to leave my kids in a space where I knew that they would be safe. And then only then, when she was offered compensation for my children, she agreed to take them on. And then started throwing up in my face that, I have custody of them and stuff like that. Real hurtful, evil person. And I still found a way to be nice and genuine to her, even though she'll call me all kind of names, all kind of, like, she was real hateful towards me. And I've never been that way with her. I've never, and I told myself I'd never be that way. I never be like that to my kids. I'm not gonna be hateful towards them. Now, if I'm scolding them and I'm, disciplining them, then, even though my kids were in her guardianship, she was receiving free money every month. I still made sure I stayed around. I still made sure I stayed in my kids' lives. The only deterrent between us was her. That I couldn't, like, raise them and, let them know that they were lives, because she surely wasn't telling them that they were alive. And I would have to, listen, you are alive. You have a life ahead of you. You have decisions to make, and you can do it, trying to be that encouraging person in their life, because no one was ever that way with me. So I had to end up encouraging myself. I had to make sure I stayed encouraged. But the fact that it was, this type of non-existence and hurt and pain and trauma of somebody else was still rooted in us, in me and my kids. And that was just from the beginning. But as when you as you get older, you try to clear all that stuff out. Clear it out. Get that out of there. Okay? Because it won't do you any good. Um, and a lot of times the devil can use that old pain and that old trauma and that old, what didn't let you feel good or make you feel good. He can use that against you. You know, it was, listen, it was to the point, like I said, I loved people. I looked for validation from my family. I looked for that until I figured out I don't need validation from them. Look at them. Not to be funny, but seriously, like I had to pretty much convince myself that I don't need them. And I'm convinced I don't need them. I don't. I don't. I just I was dependent on them because that's how we grew up. In most households, you grow up having to depend on another person. You're not the only child. You know what I mean? Like you had cousins and sisters and brothers that you got in trouble with, things like that. That made you codependent, on that person, thinking that that person will always be there for you, no matter how wrong they did you. No matter how wrong they did you, you'll end up forgiving them because that's, you're like left with no choice but to forgive. But, as like I said, as time went on, people were like you had gathered members of the family, people coming into the family who just made situations in your life worse than it needed to be. It was to the point where, I was being set out on the street with my kids and doors literally slammed in my face. These people were very hurtful towards me. But I stood 10 toes, like I don't need y'all. And everywhere I tried to go, my just tried to come with me. No, no. So honestly, like I'm back in the same place where I started. Okay? And I had to ask the Most High, like, why am I here? Why am I in this place? Retribution. I'm like, okay, whatever you say. When it's time for me to go, the Lord is making a way for me to leave. He's gonna make a way for me to bounce. He's doing all of that. I'm not worried about that. It's just all the things that are being illuminated while I'm here. It's crazy. Um, but this is what's happening. Like I literally had to come back and illuminate some things. You know, God wants me to continue to heal from all the traumas. 13:33 on the clock. Um, heal from all the traumas and the things that I never got rid of. And so that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm doing. I'm getting rid of all the stuff that just no longer serves me because I'm moving on in life. I'm sailing on to calmer waters, and I see it. So does everybody else, and you could tell. When you have a spiritual eye, you can see and tell things. You know what I'm saying? Like, although people would try to turn their back on me or I'm finding out that there was a lot of stuff said about me that was never true. That, I didn't even know was being said about me, but I'm finding these things out. This one person named this guy from a long time ago, his name was Devon. He said, if your mama got all this bad stuff to say about you, sure, what kind of person is you? Why does my mama have anything bad to say about me? And I don't even talk to her. I don't see her. Like, I don't. She told me she didn't want me around. Like, I've never been on any type of crack. I've never stolen. anything from my mother or my grandmother or my auntie or nobody. I've never stolen anything from anybody in my family. My siblings, counterparts, their husbands, would sit up here and say that I tried to flirt with them or tried to, have sex with them or something. But I will always have to remember, if you know me, you know. Look at the type of person my siblings, or the type of people my siblings would match themselves with, and look at the type of people that I would match myself with. Do I look like I would even mess with that? No. I like thick guys, but I don't like fat niggas, okay? Let's be clear. I'm just saying, like, it's some women out there that like that type of thing. They like that type of build. I don't. I'm going to be clear with it. I'm going to just tell you the truth. I'm going to just tell you the truth. I would never. I wish I could show you a picture, y'all. It pissed me off so bad in the simple fact that my sister, the one who claimed to want to protect me all the time, would believe the nonsense that came out of these fat niggas' mouths, okay? I ain't never. And I'm just keeping it a bean. I'm keeping it a whole bean with you. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have to lie. I don't have to lie. The only people I felt like growing up, the only people I've ever loved is the only ones that tried to keep me down. People outside of, my family, I give a darn less. But people I grew up with that I did nothing but unconditionally love hated me. And I didn't know why. I know now. I know why now, but then I didn't. And that kept, and I held a lot of pain and trauma from that. That I'm asking the Most High to let me dismiss from me. I want to get rid of these traumas. I want to get rid of the pain once and for all. Get rid of the trauma from my childhood once and for all. I know what things are that I need to get rid of. Then you got people watching your videos who wish bad, who wish that you be ugly, who wish that y'all pathetic. Y'all pathetic. It's sad, but I get it. The reason why you're sitting where you're sitting is because you don't want to do what I'm doing right now. Healing. It's called heal from the inside out. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to continue to heal. I'm going to do that. I'm going to continue to heal. I'm going to get where I'm trying to be. That's a fact. Spirit is saying for sure. Like for sure. My counterpart is on his way. He's coming. I'm going to breathe easy. I'm going to live the life that I said I want me and my children to live. They're going to have it all like I meant for them to have. And I'm being as clear as possible. But it all started with me not understanding that I didn't have a life, or I wasn't a life when I was younger, to me saying I am a life and I have a life to live abundantly is what Spirit is saying. My children will live abundantly. My children's children will live abundantly. Bare knuckle is nothing. Like, I get it. Like, I don't care about none of that. And these folks know that about me. I don't care about none of that. You come swinging on me, they know I'll fuck you up. They know that. They know I'm not the one to play with. They never tried. And anytime they did try, they know I'll go heads up with them. They knew that. They knew that. They know not to run up on me too. I'm not the one to start shit with people. But they always knew if they ever ran up, I was ready to beat you down. They always knew that about me. That's why they never ran up on me. I'm sorry for shedding tears, but my kids, my children, my children's children will be in abundance. As usual, as the norm, as they're supposed to be. I knew that. I knew that my kids were supposed to live that kind of way since we were younger, since I was younger. But, you know, just because other people don't think that you are supposed to live in abundance or have something, don't mean you're not supposed to. Just as them trying to project what they are or what they don't have or what they can't have or what they don't want to go get. Trying to project that nonsense on you, but you don't have to listen to that, collective. You understand. You understand something. You know something a lot of other people don't know. So you use them gifts that God gave you to help others reach whatever goal it is that they're trying to reach. And don't be afraid of other people because they're going to be who they are. And at the end of the day, they don't have nothing to do with you. So not only is this an inspirational video, it's a very encouraging video for those who need it. That, just to let you know, you're not alone. Everybody goes through something. And the only thing you can do is get better in life, period. Understand what you want, know what you want. And know what you're going out here for. And remind your children from day one that they are a life and they have a life to live abundantly. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I just wanted to put that word out there just to help somebody understand that, we ain't by ourselves. We ain't by ourselves. We ain't alone. 23:32 on the clock. We ain't by ourselves. And that, whenever you start to feel like it's just not worth it, or it's just not, you start to feel down about something, just remind yourself why you got out here in the first place. You remind yourself, you keep that in mind of why you're doing what you're doing in the first place. My reason is because God told me to. That you have something to say, and I want you to let everybody know what it is that you got to say. God told me to. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and I love y'all. That's the only reason why I'm on here, too. That's one of the reasons. Not just because God told me to, it's because I love y'all. And we are a life here to live abundantly. So I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.